of course, the fires in LA. I'm proud to know some good folks in California, and I'm thrilled to welcome Chief Nate Armstrong to the show from California Fire, Cal Fire. Nate has been with Chief, thank you for joining us. 20 years of public service. I know you're a paramedic, a firefighter, and everything else, and now you're a staff chief at the headquarters there. Thanks for joining us. I know it's a busy time for you guys. Oh, I can hear you now.
Are you with me?
I got you loud and clear. Yeah, good to go, sir. I appreciate it. I was just talking about the West LA. Hey, I guess I'll bet my first question. I saw a local reporter saying that the West LA VA campus was being evacuated ahead of time just in case. Do you have any information on that, sir?
I wouldn't have any specifics on that exact evacuation. I can tell you it's a very dynamic situation as winds continue to change in direction and speed and so forth.
Yeah.
Some more information on that if you'd like.
So what's the latest on the ground, sir? I mean, I know I saw some reports overnight that some of the fires are being contained finally to a certain extent. What's the status? Is it still 4 fires or is there more going on?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we have begun to make some pretty great progress on a couple of the fires, and a lot of that just has to do with favorable weather conditions. Also, has to be mentioned, a lot of the additional help that we've been getting from folks throughout the state, the region, and now internationally, which I'm sure we'll probably touch on. But yes, we've had some definitely favorable weather conditions, facing 80 to 100 mile an hour winds in the peak of this thing, 3-4 days ago. And now with those lessening, like you said, we have been able to wrap up or contain several of those smaller fires, notably the Lydia and the Sunset, which I believe were about 43 and 19 acres respectively. Those are 100% contained. There was also the Kenneth fire, which was near the community of Calabasas. And that was about 1,000 acres. In fact, just over 1,000 acres. And as of this morning, that's now 100% contained. Wow. The couple still, the big ones, obviously, that kind of kicked off this entire event were the Palisades. And as of this morning, that's 23,707 acres with 11% containment. And then the Eaton fire, which is kind of North Pasadena area, we're now looking at 14,117 acres with 27% containment.
Those are incredibly large numbers. I mean, you're talking, 50 square miles when you translate that, don't you?
Yeah, huge. And you can imagine the logistical, kind of issues of getting your hands around that with the resources that you have available.
Right, which is a lot of, and it's a Herculean effort. I mean, what communities are, so I had last heard, Brentwood was being threatened now because of the Palisades fire. Has that changed overnight, or is it still in danger?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's a really dynamic situation as far as weather goes and everything, and we really hate to, you see this concentric kind of movement of evacuation orders and warnings. What we typically like to do is we never want to be doing an evacuation order so that people are evacuating their homes with fire on their heels. And so it is we get that it's an inconvenience for folks to evacuate sometimes, but we would rather have people out and safe and not needed to have evacuated than to be too late on that. So we typically put an evacuation warning in place just in that next concentric circle, just to give those people a heads up. And we always tell people, don't wait for that order. If you don't feel safe, get out, go someplace where you're safe and comfortable, and don't be stuck in that traffic jam, trying to escape with the fire on your heels.
And that, you bring up a good point, that traffic jams are an issue in LA. I've heard, I've sat in them myself. I mean, it kind of, to me, I'm sort of shocked that we've only heard reports. I think last report I saw was 16 confirmed fatalities. That seems low to me, sir. Is that because of this effective evacuation system that people in LA are used to it, or they're getting ahead of it? Are you surprised by the low number of fatalities, or is that more a matter of we maybe haven't gotten everywhere yet?
Yeah, I think it's probably a little combination of both. I'll tell you, any fatalities are too many fatalities as far as we're concerned. Those assessments are continuing; they're ongoing, and there are some nuances. You said reported fatalities, and we really wait for confirmation on those. And so you'll see kind of some fluctuation in numbers, one entity reporting some amount and maybe us reporting some lower. We just really want to make sure that those numbers are solid and confirmed before we release them. So as of this morning, I think we're saying 10 or 11 fatalities between the Eaton and the Palisades, which is just tragic.
still tragic, but thank God not more. I mean, we've seen such loss of life in previous fires. Of course, the several years ago, the fire from the up north. So now you mentioned, you touched on getting a flood of support, not just from the United States. Oregon, we saw the 75 fire engines. Now Mexican firefighters in place. What kind of support are you getting? And it seems remarkable to me how many people are descending on the area to help you guys.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, and it just goes to show. And Fred, I believe you're former military, and I'm sure a lot of people
Sure.
can kind of relate. The fire service is absolutely a brotherhood, a sisterhood. Everybody has, the same mission, regardless of the patch or the color of their uniform. And so we, Cal Fire, have responded out of state, out of the country. We have relationships with many countries, and it just goes to show that all that is reciprocal, and it really pays off to have those relationships. So we do have folks from, and I'm going to miss states, and so I'm just going to name a few, but yeah, you pretty much named it. The entire western states, Washington, Oregon, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, Texas is on their way, and Texas joined us just this last year in 2024 for some fires. And now, as you said, we have a contingent of firefighters from Mexico that arrived yesterday, I think about 70. And those are going to be boots on the ground firefighters at the Eaton or the Palisades, I'm not sure which one. And then we also have our brothers and sisters from Canada, from British Columbia area, I believe, that are, they're coming to kind of shadow and support one of our incident management teams. I do have to say, if you can give me a minute to give a shameless plug,
Do it.
we got beat up a little bit yesterday.
What?
Yeah, we did. We were announcing all of the help that we, Cal Fire, were ordering for these fires, and we did not have Arizona on our list because we did not order Arizona on a state-to-state agreement. However, little nuance of the Eaton fire, we are in unified command on that fire with the Forest Service, not knowing that the Forest Service had help from Arizona. So we're really happy that our brothers and sisters from Arizona are here. And, I might still be missing other states. Forest Service may have ordered. We could have New Jersey here for all I know. So
Yeah, well,
I hope nobody feels slighted, but yeah, we're getting help from everybody, and we can't appreciate it enough.
we've been showing the pictures beside us on screen here, sir. They're just shocking to me. The what your firefighters and these heroic men and women are coming and facing and doing. What kind of stories you're hearing from the front lines? It must be incredible what your men and women are facing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the number one thing, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but was the wind. It's you just can't fight. You just can't fight a fire and wind like that. When you get ember cast from 80 miles an hour, you're talking possibly blocks, miles ahead of the fire. And having fought fire in those areas before, I can tell you, palm trees are just an absolute nightmare because those things, get caught in the wind and they're like a sail burning for blocks and blocks and blocks. So the wind, like I say, at that point, and this is an important point, particularly for folks that stay behind to defend their homes, is that, when we're fighting a fire, every firefighter has three main priorities. It's life, property, and then environment. And anytime there's a threat to life, we don't move on to protecting property until we've mitigated that life threat. So that being said, I totally understand that that kind of primal instinct to protect your home and to do everything you can to protect your home. I get it. Any homeowner would get that, and it's absolutely devastating seeing the amount of loss that folks are experiencing, and we feel terrible for them. But at the same time, and this isn't unique to these fires. We experience this all the time. The folks staying behind to defend their homes, it can be contrary for us because as long as you're standing in your front yard with a garden hose with a fire front coming at you, we can't do anything to protect your home while we're trying to protect you. So that's the biggest possible messages I could ever send to people is when you get that evacuation order, please go get yourself in a safe place. Let us do our job and protect that home as best we can. So like I say, that wind and just that environment has really been the major challenge that we've faced.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of good lists for folks to take, so they're prepared. Like, even if you're not evacuated, put your family pictures in the trunk of the car, put your passports, your VA paperwork, right? They should be ready. I mean, hopefully, Californians are a unique breed. You guys are used to natural disasters like other places, but hopefully, folks, I know you guys are putting out the information that they should be ready to evacuate with the important stuff and not wait to the last minute.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's been shocking. The winds have died for a little bit. I think I read a report that you may expect them to come back again on Tuesday. What are you facing in the coming days, sir? And what should people know?
Yeah, that's correct. We're actually back under a red flag warning for
Ah,
areas of Southern California right now. And I think that's going to go through, they move around, but the moving target right now is that it's not going to really die down until possibly midday Wednesday. And
okay.
that's for, I get that this is national, but for anybody listening from Southern California, that's covering several counties, including parts of Los Angeles County where these fires are. So we are still expecting some strong winds, that we still have that low humidity. Uh, Southern California is basically in a drought this year, hasn't seen any significant amount of rain. So we're still facing that, but we are, as we gain containment on these fires that are active, we are either reassigning those resources to the active fires, or we're also pulling some and we're putting them in what we call a mobilization center. And what that mobilization center is set up for is for a quick response. We're there, we're ready for the next fire. While we have Cal Fire incident management teams currently managing the Eaton and the Palisades, we also have a full Cal Fire incident management team, that same organization, about 70 people, that's staged in Southern California. We've had them for several days there,
Okay.
and they're ready to respond if we do have another major fire to occur. And we have those line resources waiting in a mobilization center to also further mobilize.
And on that note, there was, obviously, I'm not going to drag into politics. It's not your job, sir. But you guys, when you saw the Santa Ana's coming, Cal Fire had mobilized, right? You had pre-positioned resources before the fire started, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Cal Fire did, and our partners, Cal OES, Office of
Hmm.
Emergency Services, through the governor's office, had a lot of pre-stage resources. And I have a list of them I could run down, but I can
Sure.
tell you, we typically, it's a really extensive mutual aid system within California, and
Hmm.
we jockey resources around to where the most need is. And so while Northern California has received a significant amount of rain and the fire risk was a lot lower there, we were able to move, just the day before the Santa Anas began, we moved, I believe it was up to 45 fire engines from Northern California
Wow.
into the affected counties. I believe 6 fire crews, and we moved some aircraft down there as well. Also, in the southern region, we have this ability to hold all kind of the off-duty personnel, or the people that would be going off duty. We hold them on duty, and we staff whatever extra equipment we have. And so that morning, before the Palisades began, in addition to those, the resources we moved from the north, we staffed additional fire engines, fire crews, bulldozers, aircraft, everything in the southern region. And that's on top of what those local government counties did as well. And so I don't have their numbers, but I could tell you there was probably close to 75 to 100 fire engines, in addition to hand crews and everything there. It's just when you get hit with a fast moving fire like the Palisades, you're trying to evacuate folks, while still trying to put that out in area of homes. It's
Yeah.
just, it'd be hard to say what exactly is enough.
Yeah, Masha, I'm keeping you longer than I told you. I do want to make it in our comments. Folks are talking in the comments right now about drones. Uh, I mean, I heard we all saw the story that one of the Canadian Dipper planes got hit by a drone. I mean, are you guys banning drones, or what are you telling folks who own drones who are just so eager to try and get pictures?
Yeah, this isn't new. Unfortunately, it's really sad. This isn't the first time, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to that a little bit. It is a federal crime to fly in the area of a
Okay,
fire.
yeah,
It is, and I believe it's $75,000 fine, minimum fine, and I
wow,
believe that's being investigated. So what happens is those things are so dangerous, and I get that people want the video, but it's just to cease all operations is what happens. And
yeah,
so if you fly our kind of mantra is, if you fly, we can't. because exactly what you saw happen with that Canadian Super Scooper hitting the drone. We have to down the entire air fleet until the air is clear. It's just not worth it for the safety of our folks. And unfortunately, that can allow the fire to continue to grow, threaten lives, threaten property. It's just not worth flying a drone anywhere near a fire area.
And these pilots are incredible. The video we're seeing, I've gotten a kick out of the local news sort of becoming the local sport is now watching incredible water dumps. I mean, I'm a helicopter pilot in my past life, and seeing guys flying DC-10s like they're fighter jets is is really incredible. Just the heroics that Americans are seeing of you and your team. So I think on behalf of our viewers and everybody, just thank you for all you guys are doing. I know it's tough. It's a tough political environment. It's a tough, personal environment. People are always angry in these kind of situations. And the way you guys are focused on your work is admirable beyond belief. I guess my last question, sir, is what can we do for you? Is there anything that our viewers can do to help you guys out, or what can we do?
The biggest thing that folks can do for us is to prepare themselves, be ready. That's the absolute biggest help that we can have. We have a ton of resources. We encourage everybody to go to our fire.ca.gov webpage. We have an active incidents page there that gives really up-to-date information. It's constantly being updated, almost near real time. They have 3D maps so you can see where the fire is. You can see the evacuation zones. But more so, before that is we need everybody to be ready. They need to have that plan like you talked about earlier, having those important things. And we have a great website called readyforwildfire.org that has just checklists galore. Have a plan for your family, exercise that plan, have the bags packed, think about the things that will hold you up. You'd be surprised how many people stay behind for their animals. I would do it probably, but have a plan for that animal, have that food for them. So all of those resources are available on readyforwildfire.org. Best thing, like I say, that folks can do to help us is just to help themselves and let us get in there and do the job.
Again, those two websites, readyforwildfire.org and the other one, the fire.
.ca.gov.
Fire.ca.gov. We'll remind everybody, sir, that's up on the screen now. Chief, thank you for taking your time with us. We really appreciate it for our show. We've had a couple thousand people watching, so it matters to us, and we'll do our very best to support you from afar. And we just pray that you and your team are staying safe in there and you get this under control.
Thank you so much, Fred. You guys have a great day.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.